Welcome to the Real and Real Estate Podcast, your go-to show for real estate success. Whether you're an agent aiming to crush it or a buyer or seller wanting the inside scoop, we're here to deliver expert advice, insider tips, and the real talk you need. Each episode, we chat with top industry pros to give you the facts, strategies, and inspiration you need to thrive in this business. Let's dive in and make big moves together. Hi, welcome back to the Real and Real Estate, where we talk to the experts and get the facts. And today, I'm with an amazing expert, Brandon Cobb. Brandon brings practical behind-the-scenes insight to land development. He's done over 250 podcasts. He's associated with HBG Capital, and he's taken the time out of his busy day to talk to us today. So welcome, Brandon.
I'm excited to be here, ready to talk some land or whatever you want.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up here. I know I read a little bit about it, but why don't you share with the audience?
Yeah, so I'm what you probably would call a natural, or I say natural, an accidental entrepreneur. I did not have any natural tendencies to want to do what I did. In fact, I was very cozy in my corporate career. I was doing medical device sales, which is selling surgical equipment to hospitals. I was wearing scrubs every single day to work, young guy, early 20s, rubbing shoulders with orthopedic surgeons. I was selling something that I believed in, which was really important. And quite frankly, Gene, I thought that that's what I was going to do my entire life. That's what I wanted to do. That was like, it took me years to break into that industry. My boss at the time, he was the guy that finally gave me my shot, right? So he was like a father figure to me. He was a mentor. He was teaching my business. I had a lot of respect for him. And one Friday, I was having one of the best days I've had as a sales career. Like one of those days where you're excited to tell your boss like about the sales and everything that you've done.
Right.
And he says, "Hey, meet me at the Starbucks over on West End at 4 o'clock." And I was like, "Sure, all right." So I go over there and I'm excited to like give him the great news about my day. And he fires me.
What?
And just like that, my cozy corporate career in medical device was over. And the one thing that I was thinking that entire day over and over and over again after that happened was like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Because I was like, I
That's
love my
natural.
job. Yeah, like what happened? And so after like 4 or 5 hours, the shock finally wore off, and I learned an important lesson that day, which was nobody was going to look out for my financial well-being but me. You can be as low as you want to a company, climb the corporate
Right.
ladder, put the blood, sweat, and tears in, but for whatever reason, the corporation has to do what's best for the company. And that day it was letting me go. And so that's what started my whole entrepreneur career. I started flipping houses. I sold all my retirement accounts, paid the big tax penalties. By the way, this is not financial advice. So if you're listening to this, do not do what I did. I didn't even know could use your retirement account to invest in real estate. But I paid the dumb tax over and over and over again. I sold all my retirement accounts, and real estate was the first thing that kind of took off for me. I started a course on how to break into medical device sales. That flopped and that failed. I started an online motivational blog, all in the motivational stuff. That failed. I said, you know what? I'm really into the Tony Robbins stuff. Like, I'll be a life coach. And Gene, you're
Yeah.
not going to believe this, but it turns out not many people want to take life advice from a 26-year-old. So that failed. And then I discovered
That could
real
narrow your
estate.
market, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I did everything wrong. So then I discovered real estate, right? And that was the first thing that took off. At first, I made all the mistakes. I lost money. I was fumbling around figuring it out. But I started investing in masterminds and coaching, and mentor, and got a lot of help along the way. And we started flipping about 35 homes per year. And then
That's a lot.
we started building houses. We started building new construction. That went really, really well. We had a need to grow and scale the number of homes we were building. So we're like, man, we need to stop going after onesie twosie little lots and having this high transaction business. I'd love to be able to just do 2 or 3 deals a year, and be able to build 30 houses on each plot of land. And so that's what we
Right.
did. And then we started getting knocks on the door from these big national home builders. You've all heard of them, Lennar, DR
Sure.
Horton, those kind of guys. And they said, "Hey, we really like your land. We want to buy it." And we said, "Well, it's not for sale. Sorry, get lost. Like, we're going to build the houses." And then they came with a purchase and sales agreement and said, "But we'll offer you this if you sell it." And my partner and I looked at the contract. We looked at each other. We looked back at the contract. We looked at them and said, "You can have it. It's for sale.
Sold
And
it.
do you want the one across the street?" And so that's how we kind of got into land development. It wasn't just, me jumping from medical sales to land development. So I tell this story because you don't have to have this. I was born in a family that did it, or I work for a company for it. You can
Right.
figure out how to invent these new neighborhoods. And there's some cool stuff. You actually don't have to do construction a lot of times. You can just get the piece of land approved for the development and then just sell the paper without having, get into that. But we can get into that later if you want.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an amazing story. And is HBG Capital your company?
HBG Capital is our investor facing arm. So we are a private
Okay,
equity company that raises capital for land entitlement, land development, and new construction projects.
fantastic.
There are other company. We got a mastermind program called the Land Development Accelerator where we teach how to do the things that we do. Some people just want to invest money and have us do all the work. Some people want to
Right.
learn how to do it themselves.
Absolutely. So you're basically self-taught in this field. That's very impressive. And you found a partner who wanted to do the same thing. So how did you go out and find these properties that were so wonderful that these big companies came in and bought them from you?
So at first, we didn't know what we didn't know. We just knew that we
Of
wanted
course.
to grow and scale. And so what we did was we started going out to the local municipalities and seeing who's developer friendly and who's not. And so one of the things that we talk about, or one of the best things you can do if you want to get into this business is go sit down with your local planning director. If you're in a
Okay.
suburb, it's the planning director. If you're in a major downtown metropolis like Nashville, Tennessee, you're going to talk to the council person over that district. So big cities assign council people to the different areas around the city. Suburbs are a lot smaller. They have a planning director that you can go speak to that's the liaison between the developers and the council people.
Hmm.
And so we just went to the suburbs because we like to do entry level housing, and downtown Nashville was getting too expensive. And we said, hey, what are some things developers have done to create win-wins for you guys? Like, what areas of town do y'all want to see developed? Do you know anybody who might own some land that the city would really like to see developed? And so that's what we did. We got some feedback from them, and we just went and started kind of reverse engineering what the city wanted, going after those large tracts of land with development potential. And that's how we got started. Now, what it's morphed into now, because we've got a buyer, right? These big national builders, they have a
Right.
buy box. We know exactly the type of land to go and target to bring it to them for them to buy. So when we first started, we didn't know what their buy box was. We just kind of stumbled into it. Now we know what their buy box is.
Fantastic. Somebody tell me one time, see if you agree with this. I'm in Texas, TxDOT, Texas Department of Transportation. Someone tell me, go find out where TxDOT is building, where they're going, and buy land along there. Have you ever run across that philosophy?
I haven't with that particular company, but this works for many different things, right? Like I've heard the Starbucks thing. Oh, they're building a Starbucks there. Go there. They've already done their
Right.
homework for you, right? And we do the same thing. If you go Google Lennar, Nashville neighborhoods or DR Horton, Nashville neighborhoods, it'll pull up a map of everywhere they're building. Just go to those areas. That's where they want to build. They've
Okay.
already done the homework for you. It's so simple. And then, there's a few other steps after that, but that's the easy way to identify where you should be targeting.
Now, Brandon, you have a podcast also, am I correct?
Yeah, we do recession resistant real estate radio.
Okay, so that would be an amazing source for people wanting to learn and grow in this area. That would be one source. How do you suggest? I mean, you've told me how you've started finding land and getting into this business. You started flipping. How do you expect people that are listening out there? What would you suggest they do first? Find a partner? Would that be what they want to start, or should they start with flipping, or should they go right to the land development? Or are you going to tell me it depends, right? Everything in real estate is it depends.
No, so when you get into doing land entitlement development, that's kind of the big boy stuff. Okay. So this is
Okay,
not good for somebody looking to
starting
do
out.
their first real estate deal. It is not good for a W-2 person looking to do a side hustle and make some money. Everybody who's in our community They are all full-time real estate entrepreneurs, and they've been successful. They are builders who are good at building houses, but not necessarily great at, like, growing and scaling a business and raising capital. They are land flippers who are doing these smaller land flips, right? They're flipping some rural land, making, 20, 30, $40,000, or they're subdividing some rural and making some lots out of it. And they're wanting to do some big boy deals where they're getting entire communities approved. So you've got to have some kind of cash flow because it can take you a year and a half to get these big deals approved. But you're making, seven
Okay.
figures a deal, right? Like we don't mess with it unless we're going to make a seven-figure profit on it. So you got to have that foundation. You got to have that cash flow that's coming in, and you have to have the ability to negotiate with sellers. You have to have the ability to market. So you have to have that transactional experience. You need to have done some real estate deals before to understand the process, to understand sales, and to understand marketing to properties, how to go after them, right? There's a lot of different ways you can find people and put your message in front of them, let them know you're wanting to buy. But that's the foundation you need. So it's great as an add-on to somebody's existing real estate business. Real estate is this shiny object syndrome business where everyone's like, "Oh,
Yes.
multifamily's the way. I watched the multifamily webinar. That's the best one." Or no, it's self-storage. I watched a self-storage webinar and I read a book on self-storage. That's the one. Well, now Brandon's telling me land entitlement's best. You can make money in any business. It doesn't matter. I've noticed that land is a lot less saturated than some of the others. There's just not a guru on every corner teaching it, like in the
Right.
house flipping world or the multifamily world. There's a lot of people doing multifamily, so it kind of feels like a blue ocean. Um, that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, but that's who it's a really good fit for. And it's a great bolt on. I'm not saying stop what you're doing and do land entitlement. We've got other businesses that produce cash flow. This is great for the generational wealth building stuff. You only need to do one deal a year, and like the smallest deal you're going to do is, make $500,000 on it. And so, over 10 years, it really compounds. So it's a great bolt on to an existing builder's business who wants to scale the number of homes, or maybe you're a house flipper or wholesaler and you want to add this to your marketing, or you're a land flipper and you're ready to do some bigger land deals.
And now, time for a short break.
Hi, my name is Greg with Graceful Moves Moving and Storage. And with over 1,500 five-star reviews, we're one of the #1 moving companies in the greater Houston area. We specialize in everything from local moves and long distance, packing and unpacking, storage solutions, and so much more. If you guys have any questions or if there's any way that we can serve you, contact us at 713-280-7990. That's 713-280-7990. Thanks.
Well, one thing I liked, and this is personal as a realtor and a broker, I like the fact that you said you really need to know how to do this, how to negotiate, how to work a deal, and that sort of thing. So there is value in having a real estate background, but it's not, if you don't, it's not necessarily something you couldn't go out and learn.
Yeah, anybody can learn this. I came from medical device sales. I was in healthcare.
Right.
And I didn't know which way to swing a hammer. And now we develop entire neighborhoods. I've built dozens and dozens of houses. I'm selling 74 lots that we raised $5.5 million on and did the development. And I've probably got 600 units at various stages of the entitlement process. Like you can figure this out.
Absolutely. So, Brandon, how people listening to the podcast, how can you help them get started in their real estate life, regardless of which level, whether it's land development, storage, multi-unit, whatever? What do you bring
Yeah,
to the
you
table?
can. Yeah, you asked me that, and I kind of dodged the question, didn't I? So,
Yeah.
we have a free course at learnlanddevelopment.com. That's my shameless plug here. So, learnlanddevelopment.com. You
Hey,
can go grab it. It helps
people,
you
it's
get started.
helpful.
It's
Yeah.
free. Like there's over 6 hours of content when it comes to how to find the land, how to do the due diligence on the land, even how to raise money for your deals, kind of help you get started. You've got interviews with civil engineers so you understand how they can help you. I got interviews with national home builders who buy this stuff so that they can help you understand it. I've got interviews with private equity companies that want to give you the money to do the deal, like I try to make it as easy as possible. It's a lot of stuff. So we sort of give away the secrets on all that kind of stuff. But I mean, that is the best place to start really, because once you have something or you understand the process, now you've got the clarity and the confidence to be able to execute the deal. And then I don't recommend people go and figure it out like I did, because I've lost a lot of money on bad deals because I didn't know what I didn't know. Like
Right.
rule number one, never, ever, ever buy the land before you get the approval from the city. Like we made that mistake. Number two, design it with the end
Ouch.
buyer in mind. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to sell it if you design it
So,
the wrong way. So a great way to get started is, partnering with someone. If someone's willing to partner with you and teach you, but most of the time is people go try to find a partner to teach them for free, and turns out that that's highly valuable knowledge, and nobody wants to work for free. But if you can figure out how to make somebody who has the knowledge partner with you, and teach it to you, and you're actually able to deliver a deal, because again, it's hard to get people to teach and give you your time for free. That's one way to do
right.
it. So partnering, like you said. Two is to go the route that I did, which is make a lot of mistakes, and it will cost you a lot of money and a lot of time.
Maybe not the
This
best route, but it worked.
Yeah. Well, this business, Gene, is a lot less about making more better decisions. It's a lot more important to make less bad
Those
decisions.
bad
I'm more
decisions.
focused on avoiding the bad deals than getting more good deals, because I've still owned some bad deals that I've owned for 5 years, because I made those mistakes, right? So that's the second way you can do it. The third way is pay for a mentor. So go find whoever is already doing it
Yeah.
and just,
A coach.
I'm pay for your time. Hey, can I pay you, I don't know, $300 for every hour I meet with you or something like that? Yeah. Something like that. Or you can pay for like a mastermind community where you're around other people that are doing it. And this is why we created the Land Development Accelerator, is because that's what people want. Like they like the idea of being around other people and seeing what's working, what's not working right now, and be
Right.
able to get feedback from not just people like me, but the other people who are on the same journey in the group. So those are the ways. We actually tried to join a mastermind program when we were first getting into this business, but there were none out there. We had done some
Interesting.
past mastermind programs with house flipping and new construction and raising money, and those were, I mean, they were game changers for our business. And so we saw the value in those. And so when we went looking for a community in this space, we couldn't find it. So enough people saw what we were doing, they asked us for it, and so we created it.
Fantastic. Well, two underlying themes I'm hearing here. One is education. You've got to learn, which is one of the reasons I do this podcast. Teach people what the right information, the information from the experts. And coaching. I've talked to so many people that say coaching, having a coach or mentor, whether it's free or paid for, is just an invaluable thing to have. And it sounds like you reiterate that. You
Yeah,
agree with that?
all you're doing, anybody smart enough to figure it out themselves, all a coach is going to do is just compress the time frame down that it
Focus.
takes for you to learn it to get the result that you need. So you might figure it out over 5 years. That probably could have been reduced down to a year with the right coach and knowledge. And then the mistakes. I'm in several mastermind programs, and the number one reason I joined is just I want to avoid the mistakes. It's not like knowing the
Right.
things to do. I want to make sure that I don't lose money on stupid hires or bad deals or bad whatever.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what else do you want to tell us, Brandon, while we're here on the podcast? The What other things you've learned along the way do you think it'd be helpful that we haven't talked about so far?
I mean, where do you want to go with it?
Well,
Hiring, finding deals, partnerships. I mean, when it comes to land development, I mean, there's so many different
so
roads you can go down. I can talk about I've lost $1 million on a deal. I'm happy to talk about that. I've made multi-millions on individual deals before. So well, I don't know, whatever you think is, whatever you
well,
think everybody would be interested in.
well, I do think hiring's good, whether you're partnering with someone or hiring assistants. Someone told me one time, uh, hire slowly and fire quickly. So if you found out you made a mistake, you need to fix your mistake. So that's very important, I think. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that one. Slow to hire, fast to fire.
Right, right. Although we hope we don't make that mistake. Um, Gosh, you're right. There's so much. I'm not sure which way to go. Tell us a little bit about your podcast. Might as well let people know more about that so that they can. That's another way for them to learn.
Yeah, it's recession resistant real estate radio. It's not just real estate related. Our the person who invests in HBG Capital, that's who that podcast is primarily geared towards. They're
Okay.
considering real estate as an alternative asset, and they don't know that they can use their retirement accounts to like invest in real estate. It's a lot of seven-figure business owners who've been successful in a particular area of business, and they've got some discretionary income that they want to invest, and they want to invest it in real estate, but they just want to learn how. So we go through the various real estate asset classes on that podcast. I have operators come on and every niche, multifamily, self-storage, land, building homes, like you name it. We've got people on that show. We also have entrepreneurs come on that talk about how they built their businesses. So it's the lessons learned building their business, because seven-figure business owners are constantly obsessed about how to make more money and keep what you got and keep
Right.
things going good and build a better life. So we have entrepreneurs that come on the show. We also have people who have created financial independence. So, they don't have to work, but they work because they enjoy it. And they tell their story on like how they did that. So it's very investor focused. And then of course, we sprinkle in some stuff about land development, but most of it is real estate investing related.
Well, that's still great information. I always think it's wonderful to learn how someone got from A to Z and how they think about it and what they did. And again, what they didn't. So I think that's great. All right. Well, we only have a few minutes left, Brandon. Anything else you'd like to share with the audience?
The whole land entitlement thing is fascinating. Again, you can go to learnlanddevelopment.com if you want to learn more about this
Okay.
particular industry. But I'll share with you some of the biggest mistakes that I've made, because if I could prevent this from happening to one other person, it would be great. But
Fantastic.
rule number one, don't buy any land until you have all the approvals from the city. So we put the land under contract with an option to purchase it if we get the result that we're looking for, right? So if you do that, you can hedge a lot of your risks. The second is design it with the end buyer in mind. So our process is very simple. We go find where the national builders are. We put land under contract that's around their developments. Maybe it's down the street or 8 minutes up the road. Um, we want to verify their sewer access. So you can go and you can pull
Utilities.
sewer maps from the city. So whoever utility department is, just ask them for the utility map for that parcel. They'll give it to you. If you got sewer access, that means you can get some density on the property. While it's under contract, we get what's called a concept plan done. That concept plan is just a sketch of the community. So it's a 2D bunch of rooftops. Like,
Right.
what do we think we can fit on this piece of land? Go to a civil engineer. They'll do that for you. We take that concept plan to the city. Again, council person if you're in a major metropolis area,
Right.
planning director if you're in a suburb. We show them the concept plan and say, hey, are you excited about this? Is this something you think the council will approve? And if they say, yes, we're excited about it, we take that concept plan to our list of national builders and we say, hey, look at what we got. We got buy-in from the city. If we get this approved, will you buy it? And if they say, heck yes, here's a contract and a deposit, ready, set, go, that's when we move forward with the deal. When we do this in our due diligence period, so we're not putting any significant capital at risk. You still got to pay for the concept plan, right? And some stuff.
Right.
But that's the biggest thing. That's our entire process. And so you can prevent a lot of risk by just doing that right there. So those are the two biggest mistakes that we see and how you can avoid them.
Well, those certainly make sense. Obviously, you don't want to build something you can't sell. So keeping the end user in mind is crucial.
They'll have some feedback on it too. They might need to change some things along the way. And so you want to make sure you get them lined up the front end. So yeah, we take it all the way through and then we do a double close at the very end of the deal when it's time to actually close on the property. But yeah, if you can do that, you can kind of hedge all the risks and stuff by lining up your end buyer ahead of time.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, for everyone out there listening, check out his podcast. Check out learnlanddevelopment.com. Right? I got that right?
You got it. Yeah. Learnlanddevelopment.com. That's where you can grab the free course. And then, if you're interested in learning more about the mastermind community, there's a video on that website. You can watch it.
Fantastic.
And you can book a call and see if it's a fit.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Brandon, thank you so much. We will have that information in the podcast as well so people can refer to it. I know you're very busy. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
No, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to the Real and Real Estate Podcast. I hope today's insights have inspired and empowered you. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with anyone who might benefit. Have questions or a topic you'd like us to explore? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay informed, stay inspired, and keep moving towards success.